If we were to rip the Police Federation down and start again, would it look like it does today? I don't think it would.
You can see how much PC Lee Broadbent's job means to him. You also know how infrequently serving police officers give on-camera interviews. The thing is, if Lee gets professional backlash for speaking out, he can't exactly turn to his staff association, the Police Federation of England and Wales, because he says it, particularly at senior levels, is the problem.
It's always been known as a bit of a toothless tiger, but certainly now I don't think it is a credible voice. I think there's bitter infighting, there's evidence of systemic bullying, there's evidence of systemic poor behaviour at the highest levels, and I think that undermines the Federation nationally.
Here's the backstory. Lee and almost 10,000 other police officers took the Federation to an employment tribunal about its response to a new police pension scheme that the government introduced in 2015. The way that scheme worked meant that younger officers would be thousands of pounds worse off in retirement. They said that was age discrimination. Now, the Federation, the closest thing that officers have to a union, remember, backed the government instead of their own. In 2021, when Lee became Federation Chair for Greater Manchester Police, he says he wasn't welcomed because of the tribunal.
I was seen as the enemy within, and so the behaviours and the treatment tended to be very distant. I felt like I was isolated. I felt like people were withholding work stream from me, and I didn't feel like I was able to represent the membership views internally.
Which must have been really hard for you to deal with.
It was incredibly difficult. Yeah, it was a very stressful period of my life. I ended up taking sick leave in October due to the amount of stress and pressure. Unfortunately, I felt like I was bullied out of a role that I was good at.
The tribunal delivered its damning findings last year. It found the Police Federation had discriminated against and victimised officers, that it used misleading and manipulative information to try to dissuade officers from bringing the case, that it was motivated by personal animus. It said the organisation had allied itself with the government over its own members' interests. It's not the first time the Federation has come under scrutiny.
I do not want to have to impose change on you, because I want you to show the public that you want to change.
In 2014, then Home Secretary Theresa May slammed the organisation.
If you do not change of your own accord, we will impose change on you.
Her words were prompted by the Normington Review, led by civil servant Sir David Normington, which made 36 recommendations. Normington excoriated the Federation, calling for changes in its finances and culture. It said the organisation had an enormous distance to travel to promote equality internally and protect and support minority groups within forces. May said the recommendations had to be implemented. The question is, 10 years on, what's changed? That's where Lee's story comes back in. Today, he hit the send button on a letter to the top, calling for an external and independent inquiry into the Police Federation of England and Wales following its failed attempts to fully implement reform recommendations set out in the 2014 Normington Review. Since Baroness Casey's review into standards of behaviour within the Metropolitan Police Service, which she found to be institutionally racist, misogynistic and homophobic, one particular phrase has taken centre stage. We hear so much about culture change within policing. What is the Police Federation's role in contributing to that change?
This is an organisation of middle-aged white men, and sometimes when middle-aged white men have power, they want to keep hold of that power. And this is an organisation that needs to grow as policing grows. You only have to look at the proliferation of other support networks, the LGBTQ policing support networks, the Black Police Officers Association. These organisations wouldn't necessarily exist or feel the need to exist if their members felt the PFEW represented them.
Lee, a lot of people watching this will look at you and see that you are a white man and that you are sat here and speaking up on behalf of other marginalised communities, and will find that very refreshing. Why are you doing that?
I represent fairness. It's been drilled into me ever since we were at school, you know. Everybody is equal. Everybody deserves a fair opportunity. And it's inbuilt in me. I joined the police to try and make a difference, to represent people in the community and stand up for people that couldn't necessarily stand up for themselves.
In a statement, the new CEO of the Police Federation, Mukund Krishna, told us the organisation has started a major transformation programme and commissioned an independent review which aims to learn lessons from the pensions case and instigate changes aimed to improve the Federation's structure, processes and governance, adding finally, we're committed to rebuilding a federation fit for the future. Lee's lawyer's office sits directly opposite the headquarters of Greater Manchester Police.
Police officers need to have trust in an organisation that is going to represent their views to the government. Without that trust, I think, you know, any reform of policing is on a catastrophic journey.
And this has not been an easy journey for Lee.
There's always this sword of Damocles hanging over my head, as to say, if I get into trouble or if somebody puts in a complaint against me, who do I turn to for representation?
Whilst he is one of thousands with similar grievances, the risk feels personal.